Okay, huge movie fanatics coming back at you. It's summer camp season here, so I thought we'd continue on. You know, last time we did all the Friday 13th on a very cold May Day, and now it's not so cold, and so we're going to continue our. A bunch of kids right now are probably on their way, or they're either doing it or, you know, gonna do it soon. It's summer camp and all the bullying and all this and that. So summer camp season. So Sleepaway, you know, I'm a huge summer camp movie fan, and also obviously summer camp horror movie fan. And Sleepaway Camp is one of those classic early '80s slasher movies that, you know, is for very good reasons looked at by people who aren't necessarily so much a fan of outside people as a complete ripoff, which I'm sure, which it basically is, of Friday 13th. You know, you think of let's say you haven't seen the movie, and you think, okay, if you've seen Friday 13th, because at this point there's like 3 of them or 2 of them Friday 13th, and you think, okay, rip off Friday 13th, and you think, oh gosh, you know, whatever. And I'm a fan, I'm biased. Okay, I probably think way more of it than it is, or not, I don't know. I love this movie. And the thing is, you got this, Robert Hiltzik mom died, I don't know what she died of, but she died, and Robert Hiltzik was like 25 years old, and he took the insurance money, you know, and made Sleepaway Camp. And I gotta tell you, you know, that in itself is cool. I mean, it's just, you learn to respect the movie more. I mean, I like the movie for what it is, but when you know these facts, like that this guy just went out and just did this because he wanted to, you gotta, I mean, you gotta respect that more than like Paramount. We want money, you know. Give it Friday 13th, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you know. And it's very. And when you think about that, and you see that obviously this is a first-time director, and when you look at the movie, like from a technical, and that's what I'm a really technical. When it comes to movies, I really, you know, movies are technical anyway. And when I look at them, I really analyze like how they're shot, how they're cut, all this kind of stuff. I'm more of a, I guess I care more about that than story. The story can be, I don't know, story can be there or not. Whereas a movie, I mean, it has to be shot and cut if you're making a movie. Story. There's tons of movies with absolutely no story. You don't need a story to make a movie, but you need to shoot and cut a movie.
I watch a movie entirely differently. I watch it for the story and how it unravels.
Well, I'm not saying that. But I'm not saying I think story is pointless.
No.
But
that's what I watch it for. Is what I'm saying.
What about the technical aspects? Do you
I don't care. Like I think Kevin Smith is one of my favorite directors, and like I'll give Clerks a pass, but like Mallrats is one of the worst shot movies of all time. Same thing with Chasing Amy is not particularly great, but Chasing Amy is my number 5.
You can really like a movie that's shot.
Well, like, not necessarily horribly, but is shot juvenilely.
Yeah, that's a good word. Kevin.
But it's shot juvenilely, and I can still respect it so long as the story is there and it communicates with you.
Okay.
And or it gives you something you don't expect.
For me, a movie it's a technical endeavor. It's like being a writer and not having knowing how to actually use words coherently. It's the same thing. If you're a filmmaker and you can't make a movie visually interesting, then why are you doing it? But anyway, back to Sleepaway Camp. What I'm getting at is I'm laying all kinds of foundations down, basically saying Sleepaway Camp technically, also other, you know, shock ending, which is just famous and awesome. Sleepaway Camp technically is just amazing in that it's like very Hitchcockian shot, and it's like if you take it, if you look at it from that aspect, it's like this is the first movie this guy ever made.
Yeah. And
it's like, you know, how it's shot pretty cool in a subtle way. I'm not talking about, you know, if you haven't seen it, like it's the best looking movie in the world. I'm not saying that. I guess what I'm saying is camera framing, editing, using bits and pieces to connect to make an impression. It's just, when I watch it and I'm like 25-year-old or whatever, first time director, I'm just like, kind of like with I Spit on Your Grave as well, which was, I think, shot and cut very amazingly. Anyway, we've talked about that before. You can check it out here on our channel. But on the Sleepaway Camp, when I was a kid, I didn't necessarily, I saw it once, I think, when I was younger. And back when I was younger, I was more about kills. I was more about like blood. I was more about a hero villain like a Freddy Krueger, a Jason Voorhees, a Leatherface. I was more interested in the killer, seeing him do stuff. So an unseen killer wasn't interesting to me when I was younger. But when I got older, it was like more about the location, the scenario, the atmosphere. And when I got older, I did actually learn to dig with the early Friday 13th and Sleepaway Camp, the first Sleepaway Camp, the unseen killer aspect. And I don't know, to make a long story short, I love what he did with the movie. It's amazing how the whole, and I don't know where it came from, the whole I wouldn't say, it's not homophobic, but it's the homosexual, transgender aspect of the movie is so very subtly there, but I mean, it's there, and you got these two guys who, it's just weird, it's like, why, why, I just wonder how he ended up going that route.
It was kind of a strange left-wing.
But that's why
like it came out of nowhere a little bit.
Yeah, but that is one of the things.
It is subtly laden throughout.
That's one of the things I love about it, because who would think to put that there? And for me, that's just cool, and that obviously leads to the end, and just amazing. 4 stars. I'm going to hand it off to you.
I saw this movie kind of in a unique way. I'd heard about this movie for years, and I'd heard that it had like a sort of interesting ending, but I never knew what that was.
Interesting ending.
I was listening to Kevin Smith's Smodcast. I think it was Smodcast. It might have been an interview or something like that, but they were discussing their favorite horror movies and stuff, and Kevin Smith started talking about this one, and he's like, and of course there's the ending, and he's like, and if you haven't seen this movie, stop this right now, go see the movie, and resume after you're done watching. But, and then I stopped it, because I was like, alright, you got me intrigued, and plus I like this dude, so let's see if I like what he likes. I've learned not to do that with Quentin Tarantino.
That's another story.
But Kevin Smith, I actually tend to like what he likes as well. We have very similar interests, as it turns out. So I went on eBay, or no, I went on Amazon, and I found the movie for 98 cents, and I was like, sold. So I bought it for 98 cents and paid like $5 shipping and handling to get it to me. And then I put it in and I watched it.
When did you watch it?
About 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And so I put it in, and it was in summertime, like height of summer.
Good.
And I watched it in the morning because I had work later that afternoon. So I watched it, and I'm watching and I'm watching. I'm like, this is kind of good. And I was kind of digging it, but I was like, what is so special about this movie? And then it got to the creepy-ass final shot where she's just sort of standing there with the crazy face that's clearly fake on top of the body.
On a drunk boy or something.
Yeah, on the body, and then it like the weird camera pull-out kind of thing, and you're just like, the fuck? And I was just like, oh my god! And I had to rewind it and be like, did I see that? And then you start thinking back, and you're like, oh my god, that's the girl boy that they talked about earlier in the movie, and like all this kind of stuff, and you start pulling together. It was like Donnie Darko'd me, where it's like it lulls you into one thing, and you're like, what is this movie about? Why am I watching this? And then suddenly, all of a sudden, like shit comes together at the end, and you see something kind of unique and interesting, and I was like, that was kind of genius, and like that static final shot is really kind of creepy.
And I love the music in the movie.
Yeah, the music is good. So I was like, wow, that was great, and I finished listening to Kevin Smith's thing, and he was like, and then she's just fucking standing there, but it's not a she, it's a he, and all this stuff, and I was like, that was disturbing, because you didn't expect it. It was just a jarring.
It's not like penis is necessarily.
No, and it's not necessarily commentary on.
You spent the whole movie being like, especially if you're a male watcher, it might be different than a female watcher, because if you like girls, because you're like, oh man, if I was there, I'd be nice to her or whatever. Yeah, you might bond with her as a male throughout the movie, and then it's like, there's like that. I think that has something to do with it.
And it wasn't necessarily like they were ripping on the transgender community.
No, not at all. It's just saying.
So I give it that respect for that. But I was just sort of, it caught me off guard, and so I was like, wow, this is kind of good. And I still have it to this day. Usually, if I see a movie and whatnot, I'll sell it back. Like if it's not one I plan on rewatching, but I'm like, this one might be good if I ever have like a party where we watch horror movies or something like that. I'll just whip this one out. Nobody is gonna expect the ending, if anything else. I'd give it 3 stars. It was well made, and
that's impressive.
Yeah, I like it better than Friday the 13th.
Because I like obviously Friday the 13th, but Sleepaway Camp. It has more to say than you'd ever think a slasher movie.
Yeah, and I saw this one kind of back to back with. After I saw the second one like several years beforehand, but I wasn't really paying attention to it. It was just sort of there. I kind of watched it back to back with this one, and I stopped watching like part of the way through the second one. But so the two kind of blur. Is this the one that has the cook that gets burned?
Yeah.
Okay, because I couldn't remember if that was the first one or the second one. I really liked how that was accomplished in this movie.
Yeah.
That was like really, like it could have been super gross and disturbing. Like I just rewatched Jason Goes to Hell, where after he spits that thing into the guy's mouth, like he just starts melting.
And his
for no
face
reason.
Sticks to the wall.
Yeah, and I'm just like, come on, this is just gross for being gross.
I know.
And then, and I think back to like Sleepaway Camp, they did it relatively realistically. Like it wasn't like he got spilled. And
he didn't just like burned to death.
And then his skin is just like melting away, like Indiana Jones.
Yeah, you did the bladder thing. You can see it pop up. And the thing that's great about Sleepaway Camp is like normally there's kills, and there is obviously in Sleepaway Camp, but that guy wasn't killed. He was like. He's suffering much more than being killed,
which I think is harder to watch. When like somebody survives. Watching, like I've always been a fan of the Law and Order franchises and stuff like that, but I loved SVU because it's the only show that has victims that aren't dead, and that makes it a lot like sort of more disturbing. But you also connect to them and try to like feel sympathy there more so than you do with a dead person. I mean, you feel sympathy there too, but it's much easier to feel sympathy for somebody who's still alive and went through this horrible trauma.
So what's great about Sleepaway Camp is at the very beginning with the father or whoever it is, one of my 2 dads, which is fine. That's absolutely fine. Has got the kids on the sailboat. Yeah. And the heavy, I love it, the heavy East accents. Can we go over there next summer? Mm-hmm. And it might be over there. and the accident, like the accident. And what's great about before we even go to that, the opening credits, and when I was getting back to the Hitchcockian, very subtle, competent movie, the cinema-ness of it is the opening credits. I don't know if you remember. Are so great because it's actually like in the fall or something, and presumably the fall after the events happen, because it's like the leaves are brown, but it's like the music is great, this pan shot of like the camp, and then it'll dissolve into another pan shot that's like the same speed, and it's just like we're showing different areas of the camp, and you can hear every now and then like kids playing come over, the sound like, get away from me with that pail of water, I'll kill you. And the music, and it's like a really cool opening credits of showing the end of Halloween did with some of the locations where stuff took place. It's the opposite way where you see the locations of where it's going to take place, and then you see that's very cool. And then the tragic beginning of we're gonna hit him, the scare and
I don't like.
Yes?
I don't like necessarily 80s horror movies. Hold on, I'm getting to it, because they tend to be rather shallow in terms of
that's true.
Busty babes getting killed, the undeveloped characters and whatnot. But the one thing I do like about 80s horror movies that have sort of been dropped recently is that they usually start with the incident. Prom Night is like the perfect example. I loved Prom Night.
The original?
Yeah, oh god.
You should be very careful.
I should. I love Prom Night. Well, there wasn't an incident in the beginning of the remake of Prom Night. But
don't you love the incident beginning?
Like, the incident, there's that. Friday the 13th had it too. You didn't see it, but it was there. Nightmare on Elm Street had it too. There was an incident, but you weren't there for it, and all this kind of stuff. Halloween started with the incident of that somehow molded the character the killer into doing what they do.
Right, exactly.
And I like that. And the only movie in recent history that tried to do that was Valentine, and it's so unfortunate that it didn't pan out in that movie. But I like that approach to making a slasher flick.
Well, what's great about it is depending on depending on what happens in the incident, you don't necessarily know what detail about the incident is going to be the reason for the killing, or something like that. And you're given one piece of the puzzle, and that's what the incident is. And that's what's cool about it, is because you don't know what aspect of it. Like, what's so great about having a boy and a girl, and then you see one of them die, and he tries to shoot it in a way that, like, you see the back, I think, of the kid's head who survived, so you don't necessarily know which one survived, kind of a thing. And but yeah, the incident, I do miss the incident beginning, and it's
it's time for the incident to come back. We can even call it the incident and start a new franchise.
Awesome. Yeah. So that's amazing. Three stars.
Yeah, I really like the movie.
4 stars. The music, I don't know who did the music and if he's done anything else, before or since, but the music was just really cool in a way that was very much Sleepaway Camp. Fantastic.
Sleepaway Camp.
Thanks for watching and happy camp.
Come on, Bill. No problem, Gino. This guy blows dead dogs. Just lay it in there.
Eat shit and die, Ricky.
Eat shit and live, Bill.
Yeah, Bill. He's a little wet. Come on, Bill.
Hey, Bobbery-Bob. Hey, hey, Bobbery-Bob.
Fucking bastards are gonna pay for this! Cocksuckers! Tricks!
Well, Ricky.
Hi, Mel.
Seems we haven't had much of a chance to talk. How's your summer been so far?
All right, I guess.
Just all right?
Well, would have been better if there were more guys around. It's kind of hard to get a ball game up now, you know?
Yeah. It is a shame so many had to leave.
Do you have to kiss so wet?
Sorry.
It can't be you. It can't be. It can't be. Finished. That's all there is to it. Finished. Wiped out.